Two Chinese people tear big hole in Great Wall to pass through. China's new map, another incident in Beijing's diplomatic strategy. How miserable is Yunnan, a large southwestern province of China that is actually bankrupt? It's all covered in today's China Truths. Two Chinese people tear big hole in Great Wall to pass through. China's state broadcaster CCTV reported that the authorities in Youyu County, Shuozhou City in the northwest of Shaanxi Province, said they received a report on August 24 that a hole through the Great Wall was created in Yanqian Township. After the local officials conducted an investigation, they found that two construction workers had used an excavator to breach the Great Wall so they could pass through it while working there. China Daily cited the Shaanxi Cultural Relics Bureau saying on September 4 that the two suspects are a 38-year-old man with the surname Zheng and a 55-year-old woman with the last name Wang. The damage was found in a section known as the 32nd Great Wall, one of the only surviving sections dating back to the Ming Dynasty, and is listed as a provincial cultural relic site. The state media said that the two individuals caused irreversible damage to the integrity and safety of that portion of the Great Wall. Police said the investigation is ongoing. The Great Wall was designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1987. China's new map, another incident in Beijing's diplomatic strategy. China has released a new version of the map for 2023, but experts believe that the map publication department may have misread Chinese leader Xi Jinping's recent statement on foreign relations. China's Ministry of Natural Resources released the China 2023 Standard Map last week. In addition to including territories that are not part of China or are disputed, it also includes Taiwan and the South China Sea islands that are disputed by many countries, including provinces and regions controlled by India. The release of a new version of China map has caused fury among neighboring countries. India, Nepal, Vietnam, the Philippines, Malaysia, Indonesia and Brunei expressed dissatisfaction and issued statements of protest, saying they would not recognize China's new map. In an interview with Radio Free Asia on Monday, September 4, Mr. Fong, a scholar living in Japan, said that regarding the dispute in the South China Sea, former Chinese leader Deng Xiaoping once proposed no debate and peaceful development altogether, but now China is triggering debate. Fong said that, in recent years, there has been cooperation and no debate. Vietnam, Cambodia, the Philippines, Malaysia, Indonesia, etc., and China all coexist peacefully and develop together, which means no conflict. But China is now engaging in the so-called wolf warrior diplomacy. It has become coercive again. Various countries protest against China's new map. Vietnam has criticized China's sovereignty and maritime claims in its new standard map and firmly opposed all claims made by China in the South China Sea. Vietnam's Ministry of Foreign Affairs announced on August 31 that China's 2023 map is a violation of sovereignty as it includes Vietnam's islands within its infamous U-shaped line. The ministry spokeswoman Pham Thursday Hang said in a press release, the fact that China's Ministry of Natural Resources has issued what's called the 2023 Standard Map, with the inclusion of Vietnam's Paracel and Spratly Islands as well as the dotted line, has violated Vietnam's sovereignty over the islands, as well as its sovereignty rights and jurisdiction rights over Vietnam's sea regions as determined by the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, UNCLOS. Brunei also issued a rare statement, emphasizing the importance of debating maritime delimitation issues in accordance with the provisions and procedures of the 1982 United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. Malaysian Foreign Minister Sri Zambiri said that it has submitted a protest note to China for its inclusion of the waters of Sabah and Sarawak to the map. Responding to the protests from the neighboring countries, Wang Wenbin, spokesman for China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs, said, China's position on the South China Sea issue is consistent and clear. Chinese competent authorities routinely release various types of standard maps every year. We hope that relevant parties will view it objectively and rationally. China has a water area, including inland and border seas, of about 4.7 million square kilometers. After the new version of the map was released, China's water area is calculated to increase to about 10.45 million square kilometers. In this regard, some netizens said that China is strong again, while others said that the map can be drawn bigger. In his response, Shambhu Kumaran, the Indian ambassador to the Philippines, Palau and Micronesia, said that India does not rule out it could conduct a joint patrol with the Philippine Navy. Mr. Fong said that diplomatic issues have always been sensitive issues. China wants to prove its national strength by publishing a new version of the map, but it is of little significance. The scholar said China should sit down and practice its own internal skills, because it was a failure. Attempts to ease diplomatic tensions fail. Kai Shinkuan, a political commentator in the United States, said in an interview with RFA that the new map comes from China's Ministry of Natural Resources, not the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. As China tries to ease relations with its neighbors, this map does not seem to be in line with China's diplomatic stance. Kai said that there have been a new series of subtle changes recently, but some departments in the Chinese government prefer the left to the right, so when the new map was released, Xi Jinping often adopts the most leftist approach. Kai Shinkuan believes that the publication department of China's new version of the map may have misread Xi Jinping's recent statement on foreign relations, because China does not adjust its foreign policy. Kai said that the Chinese economy, its efforts to lure foreign investment, as well as its exports will be greatly affected by the new map. The commentator added that the new version of the map is another incident in China's diplomatic strategy. How miserable is Yunnan, a large southwestern province of China that is actually bankrupt? Yunnan is a province that China's financial circle will focus on this year because its local government debt is actually in a state of explosion. According to the statistics of Shangpiao.com, the total overdue amount of commercial bills of 8 municipal city-level investment companies in Kunming at the end of March 2023 was 77.9 million yuan. By the end of July, it had risen to an astonishing 817 million yuan. More than 10 times. Local urban investment companies cannot even pay commercial bills, and of course they cannot repay urban investment bonds. As for local bonds issued by local financial departments, of course they are also at high risk. Here, it is very necessary for us to have a look at the macroeconomic data of Yunnan province, to see what kind of state it is in now, and to see how depressed its economy is. Looking at the data table on the official website of the Yunnan Provincial Bureau of Statistics, you will see an all-round collapse of data directly confirmed by the official. China's National Bureau of Statistics often deliberately modifies the statistics, but Yunnan province seems to have completely given up on showing a good face. After all, bragging is really taxed. When local debt has already exploded, bragging about prosperity on paper has lost its practical significance. Let's first talk about the investment data that we value most. Like other provinces, Yunnan province does not release its raw data on fixed asset investment, and again only gives a percentage figure. Only the National Bureau of Statistics of China will give an original value in the monthly report. Most of the local statistical bureaus in the country no longer publish original investment data, but only give percentage data. However, the investment percentage data released by the Yunnan Provincial Bureau of Statistics actually gave a negative value. The year-on-year growth rate of fixed asset investment in the first half of the year was -5.0%. You should know that the original data of national fixed asset investment in the first half of this year was actually -10.4%. However, the National Bureau of Statistics of China dared to brazenly announce an increase of 3.8%. Now, the Yunnan Provincial Bureau of Statistics directly released a negative value, so how bad is the original data situation? How tragic is it? Next is industrial data. As of May this year, the loss rate of industrial enterprises above designated size in Yunnan was as high as 37.34%, an increase of 5.5 percentage points from the same period last year. That is to say, more than one-third of industrial enterprises in Yunnan province recorded a loss. The amount of corporate profits saw a decrease of 14.7%. At the same time, the company's losses increased by 72.3%. In other words, the company's operating conditions were deteriorating dramatically and its losses were a mess. Under such circumstances, companies will of course lay off workers, and the number of employees will continue to decrease. As of the end of May, it had decreased by 4.4%. These laid-off workers are, of course, not counted in the unemployment rate, and we never know what happened with these people. Next, let's take a look at Yunnan's financial situation. Yunnan province's finances are extremely dependent on land sales revenue. In 2019, the dependence on income from land sales was as high as 43.4%. Since 2019, with the collapse of Yunnan's real estate market, land sales revenue has dropped sharply, and Yunnan's total fiscal revenue has also dropped sharply. In 2020, the total fiscal revenue of Yunnan province will be 367.6 billion yuan, which will drop to 257 billion yuan by 2022, a drop of 30.1% in 2 years. Since the beginning of this year, land sales revenue in Yunnan province has continued to plummet. It is estimated that the land sales revenue for the year before last was less than 50 billion yuan, which is only a fraction of the 159.1 billion yuan in 2019. This means that the fiscal revenue of Yunnan province will continue to decline. This is why the local debt in Yunnan province continues to be a serious threat. Against such a background, Yunnan province naturally lived a tight financial life. In the first half of this year, various public financial expenditures in Yunnan province were reduced by 7.6% year-on-year, which is not a low percentage. Note that almost every public service item is being compressed, even social security expenditures are being compressed. Finally, let's talk about Yunnan's construction industry. The shrinking investment coupled with the shrinking real estate industry means that the construction industry in Yunnan province is also in a state of shrinking. As of the end of June, employment in the construction industry in Yunnan province had decreased by 5.5%. Of course, we also don't know where these reduced construction workers went. This is probably the biggest mystery in the Chinese economy. To sum up, Yunnan province has experienced severe local debt, shrinking investment, large-scale industrial losses, shrinking real estate, shrinking fiscal revenue, shrinking construction industry, and plummeting employment situation. It meets all the objective conditions for bankruptcy and has lost the ability to save itself. If the central government does not come to the rescue, it will collapse. Of course, Yunnan is not the only such province. The central government may want to rescue them, but how can the central government find the money to rescue them? It is nothing more than printing money out of thin air. Don't forget to comment in the section below to share your opinions on today's topic with us. Make sure to like and subscribe to see more interesting topics from China Truths.